Welcome to Memorial Cooking Innovations. I'm Tim Scallon, registered dietitian.
And I'm Manny Marini, executive chef.
Good to see you again, Chef Manny.
Nice to see you.
You know, we just keep learning, we keep growing on this show. I don't know if you're learning anything from me.
Oh, always. We always.
Well, but you know, some of the things that I'm learning, I've got to tell you about this. Okay, so last weekend I had this saute going, and it came time to cut the garlic, and I didn't have fresh garlic. And you know, in times past, I would have just used garlic powder. But after you get used to using these fresh ingredients like you've taught us to use, it's just not the same. I had to go get garlic.
Awesome.
So,
Way to go.
So this month, where the seasons are changing, and we've got some recipes that.
Actually, this month we're going to do a traditional French onion soup with a healthier version, of course.
Okay.
And then we're going to top it off with a shepherd's pie, but we're going to give it our twist. With instead of using potato, we're going to switch it over to sweet potato, which
I like
you know, it's out there in the market, so it'll be fun. Then we're going to finish it off with a nice Bavarian dessert.
Ooh.
Okay,
Bavarian.
So quick, easy, fun.
Ooh, this sounds exciting. Okay, let's see what we're doing then.
Okay, so I got a nice little hot pan.
Okay.
What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna julienne the onions, right? The ingredients, of course. Traditionally, we use some onions, some butter, brown the onions. We're gonna use a little bit of olive oil this time, okay?
Okay, good. I like
the
that.
healthier version of it. And then we're gonna top it off with a little bit of white wine.
Okay.
What kind of wine? Well, we always have a little white wine in the house,
Now,
right?
see,
and it's not really necessary, but you know, it enhances the flavor.
Adds flavor, and you know, anytime you're taking fat away from a recipe, you also want to add some flavor back, or you're taking sodium away. And so this wine is one of those ways that we bring flavor back in. Exactly. But I'm surprised that you chose a white wine. You know, we always think of eating red wine or drinking red wine with beef, but you chose white wine. Tell me about that.
White wine to me has always been traditional.
Really? Okay, so it's a traditional choice.
It's a traditional choice.
Okay, all right.
All right, so what we're going to do is we're going to brown the onions a little bit.
Okay.
We're going to add a little bit of, let me see, my black pepper. We're going to add a pinch of black pepper.
All right.
And you know, I always save the garlic for last, right?
Yeah,
Tim?
yeah.
Okay, so.
You know, I've learned that from you. I realized all these years that I was cooking and I put the garlic in with the onions, and you got a lot of good smell from that garlic, but by the time you were through with the dish, it was burned. It was too strong, overpowering.
Right.
And so I've learned from you to add it a little later in the dish.
So we want to brown the onions really, really good, okay?
Okay, all right.
And then we're gonna add some wine. And how much wine? We're just gonna coat over the onions, okay, Tim?
Okay.
And then we're gonna let it reduce a little bit.
All right. And so when you say reduce, what you literally mean is boil it until it goes down.
Let it simmer until it goes down.
Okay. You know, on this show, to me, that's part of the fun, is we get to learn some of these cooking tips. You know, it's not every day that you get to have a chef and a dietitian in your kitchen, huh?
Not every day.
Yeah. You know, I have to tell you that I was never good at keeping my knives sharp. And, you know, I'm always trying to cut through okay, Chef Manny showed me to do it this way. Well, Chef Manny has taught me how to hone my knives. And so I've been honing knives. I don't do it as fast as he does. But I've got
You always got to be
knives.
careful, right?
Yeah. But it's because of you that I've learned how to do that. Okay, so tell me what you're doing here.
Well, we're going to add some fresh herbs. And all I did was just roll up the fresh basil.
Yeah.
And it's your choice. You can chop it, you can dice it, or add it whole. I'm just going to...
That's a nice, easy way to do that, isn't it?
Yeah. We're going to add a little bit of basil. And this is where we don't add so much salt, because the wine has a little sodium in it. The herbs, we want the fresh flavor, right? So we're going to add that. We're going to add a fresh thyme.
Okay.
And then, like I said, we're letting that reduce. And then we're going to add a little bit of low-sodium beef broth.
Okay. You always want to have plenty of time, huh?
Always.
Yeah. Okay. All right. And so one of the things that I learned in researching for these shows is that fresh herbs compared to dried herbs can sometimes have 7 times the antioxidant activity. That's pretty amazing, isn't it? And so not only are we improving flavor by cooking with fresh herbs, but we're also improving the health benefits of the food we're eating. So fresh herbs are the way to go.
So here I have some beef broth.
Yeah, low sodium. Yeah. Okay.
So we're just gonna let it cook, and we're just gonna let it simmer probably about half.
Okay. Okay. All right.
So and then we're gonna top it off with a nice crouton, which is a nice French bread.
Yep.
Any kind of bread, and just small thin slice, and a sprinkle. Traditionally we would use Swiss cheese.
Yeah.
But we're gonna use a little mozzarella, low fat.
And so we did that to reduce our cholesterol. You know, when we start working these recipes up, I'll come to Chef Manny and I'll say, okay, what do you want to do this month? And he'll say, well, let's do something such and such. And so we'll start with a basic recipe. Sometimes it's a traditional recipe like this. And I'll filter it for nutritional so it meets our healthy guidelines. And then Chef Manny filters it for flavors and balance.
And tradition.
Yeah.
So we're just going to let that reduce somewhat.
Okay. Now, while that's happening, we want to start then on the shepherd's pie? Okay. All right.
So I have 1.5 pounds of ground beef.
Okay.
Let me put a little bit of butter.
And just so you know...
This is margarine, by the way.
Yeah.
I'm going to add a little bit to melt.
And on our ground beef, just so that you know, we chose a 95% lean ground beef. And you can find that in Brookshire's. We can want to be sure and thank Brookshire's Celebration of Food and Family for sponsoring the show. But this is an example of how beef can fit into a healthy lifestyle. You know, it's not all about just chicken and fish when you're eating healthy. And but the key here is in choosing cuts of beef, ground beef that's very lean. So
very good.
Okay, so you're going to brown this ground beef.
So we're going to brown this ground beef, all right? And then we're going to add the onions, saute it, sweat it a little bit, and add the fresh herbs.
Okay.
Again, it's got a little bit of garlic, a little Worcestershire sauce as well.
Ooh, that
so
sounds good.
we'll flavor it up, and then we'll pan it up, and then I got some sweet potatoes. We're going to boil them a little bit and make them little mashed potatoes and top it off. What do you think?
Ooh, that sounds exciting. Okay.
Look, it's browning nice and neat, huh, Tim?
Okay.
So now let's add the onions.
Ooh.
All right. I want to add the onion. Let them sweat a little bit, okay?
Okay.
And when I mean sweat, I want to, you know, normally you put the onions first.
Yeah.
I did the meat because it takes a little longer.
Yeah. Okay.
So the onions. Now we're going to add the tomatoes, of course. This one's got tomatoes, fresh diced tomatoes.
Right.
What do you think about that? Nice, colorful.
Yeah.
Good and healthy. Okay. And then after that, we got some peas and carrots.
Okay. All right.
So we're going to add a little peas and carrots here.
You've really got some nice color. You've got some good nutrient density in this.
And you notice I haven't put my garlic yet. I want to save that.
Yeah.
Me personally, I want to save it for the end.
Yep.
Okay. So this is going to be nice, meaty, hearty. All right.
Ooh, that's
now,
beautiful.
because it's it's a lean piece of beef, we still have fat. So we're going to add a little bit of flour to it, and that's just kind of to absorb the fat and
kind of thicken it up a little bit.
kind of thicken it up a little bit.
Okay.
So what we're going to do is we really just sprinkle a little bit. Okay, so it looks nice right now. And now we mix it, and we just want to absorb it because we're going to add also a little bit of beef broth, low sodium beef broth.
Okay.
Okay.
Just to
absorb all that.
Just to make it fun.
Make it fun, thicken up a little bit. A lot of people, when I told them that we were making shepherd's pie, they're like, why all of a sudden once I bake it and stuff like that, it's fatty.
Yeah.
Well, that's because we didn't. Yeah, we got to strain it a little bit, but we could also thicken it up a little bit.
Well, and also starting with a leaner beef is a good.
It's a good thing.
Yeah. And even with your 95% lean beef, you're still going to have some fat that would be good to spoon off. And so you come back with your broth and your thickener, and so you're basically what you're doing there is you're getting the flavor, but you're improving the health benefit.
That's a good thought.
Okay.
Okay, so then we're also going to add our fresh herbs. I saved that for the end because we are going to bake it.
Yeah.
Now, I got some nice sweet potatoes.
Yep.
They've been boiling, nice, soft.
Yep.
Our soup is looking good, huh?
Yep. It looks delicious.
So this is one of those things that they all can come together. You know what I mean?
You know, when I'm talking about you to other people, I always tell them anything this guy cooks, it always comes out. Now, me, I can make things come out, but every now and then I'll have a failure. I haven't seen you fail on anything yet.
Not yet, but we've had a few.
Yeah.
Let me tell you, I've had a few. But you know what? You think about it and you say, okay, what would I do next time?
Yes.
You know what I mean?
So you learn from that.
And that's what you did this morning, right? When you came up to me and said, look, da-da-da-da, and look what happened. So.
Well, and you talking about using the sweet potatoes in this dish rather than the white potatoes, not only are you making something different, so we've got kind of a different twist, but you're also enhancing the nutritional value. Sweet potatoes, they're real bright orange, so that's a clue to us on what nutrient is there. Remember that? Mm-hmm. Remember which one it is?
See?
Yeah. Vitamin A value.
Vitamin A.
That's
okay.
right.
I was just testing you.
Okay,
right?
just making
there
sure I could remember.
Yeah.
And
but I know you did.
Well, okay. And so You know, that's kind of a neat twist, too.
Yeah, it is.
All right.
Yeah, that's pretty colorful, isn't it?
It's beautiful.
So, the meat is cooked, the onions, the peas, the carrots. I mean, everything looks good. So now, if you don't mind passing me the pan over there, we're going to do it in a pan.
Yeah.
What we're going to do is we're going to lay the pan right here.
Okay.
And I am going to grab all the meat. I'm going to put it here.
Yeah. Okay. And you could use a casserole dish for this.
Anything that can go in the oven, because we are going to go in the oven and bake it off a little bit, okay?
Yeah, yeah.
How's that, Tim?
Oh, that's beautiful.
It's looking good.
And you know, this is one of those good wintertime dishes. You know, it's still a little bit warm outside, but you know, in October you're starting to see the
October,
seasons
November.
change.
Oh,
yeah.
this is perfect.
And so, as your Thanksgiving guests start coming in, this could be something you could have made ahead for them. Everybody gets there, and you've got a wonderful homemade dish. And the important part is when they start talking about how good it is, you can say, well, and yes, I learned this on Memorial Cooking Innovations. Chef Manny Marini taught us how to do this. And look, you can go to memorialhealth.org and not only download the recipe, but you can watch Chef Manny do his magic.
And it's so easy.
Yeah.
So, if you don't mind, Tim,
Okay.
we are going to, if you don't mind grabbing those sweet potatoes for me.
Okay.
Put them in there a little bit. So, we got the beef, which looks really nice. What I'm going to do is, everyone's got some type of potato masher. This is mine. A nice little whisk, okay?
Okay.
Now they're all soft, nice. And the recipe called for what, 4 medium size? These are small ones, but you know, we just want to cover. We don't want too much of it.
Yeah.
So we're just going to cover the top of it. That's perfect.
Está bueno?
Yep.
Okay.
So I'm just going to smash it with my whip. Make it nice and smooth.
Okay. Really nutrient-dense food. Sweet potatoes, something that we...
Oh, I love sweet potato.
Yeah, it's a good thing to eat, especially this time of year. It's a seasonal food. You know, always check in the produce department, and the foods that you see the sales signs on, those are seasonal foods. And if we can eat seasonal, not only is it less expensive, but it changes up, it gives us some variety in our diet, which is good from a nutritional standpoint.
Now, to me personally, sweet potato has its own flavor.
Yeah.
You don't want to sweeten it up. You don't want to butter it up. You don't. I mean, you want the natural flavor.
Yep.
So I am not going to add anything to it.
Okay.
But I am going to put it in my pastry bag.
Okay.
And
all right. Now, if I'm at home and I don't have a pastry bag,
you know those Ziploc gallon bags?
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, you could use the Ziploc gallon bags, fill it up, cut the corner, and use that as a pastry bag.
Oh. Okay.
You don't really have to. You can just spread it out.
Okay.
Okay.
All right.
We're just going to make ours look a little prettier.
Okay.
But, you know, just something so simple as a Ziploc bag.
You make this look so easy.
Or we could do the, like I said, just spread it out. You know, the potatoes are already cooked.
Okay.
So I'm just going to floor it.
I see.
We're just going to cover.
You know, one of the fun things about the show is with these recipes, they're easy to do. I hear this from people all the time. I was talking to Miss Linda McLean up in Nacogdoches, and she stopped me in the grocery store. She said, I watch your show all the time. Thank you, Miss Linda. But the thing is, these recipes are not hard to do. They're easy, and that's what we hear people tell us all the time. Mr. And Mrs. Joe and Effie Hadnot told me the other day they really liked that catfish recipe. They took it to the lake and did the same recipe on the grill.
That's awesome.
Yeah, yeah. And Miss Effie was telling me how she likes on the nutritional part where we have the exchanges, and she likes the desserts particularly. So, you know, with this, you're showing us how to bring a simple recipe, make it elegant, and of course with the nutritional, it's healthy.
It's healthy.
Yeah.
So, look, I covered it all up.
Wow, it's beautiful. Look at the texture on there. That's neat.
Nice and pretty.
It's beautiful.
Okay, still nice and hot.
Okay.
So, we're just going to pop it in the oven.
Go right into the oven with that.
You know what, Tim? Once we put it in the oven, we're going to put it for 350 degrees.
Okay.
Okay?
All right.
We're going to cook it for at least 15, 20 minutes.
Okay.
And, you know, do that.
Because really everything's cooked.
Everything's
You're just bringing
and one thing I wanted to
temperature.
bring up was the sweet potatoes.
Oh, okay.
Sweet potatoes, mashed potato, regular potatoes.
Yep.
How do we cook them? How long do we cook them for?
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
that's a pretty simple question. Nice boiling water, throw them in there. You can peel them first, which
Yep.
that's my preference. or you can leave them whole, but make sure you wash them really good because they're ground.
And see, I like those skins on there, but that's okay.
That's a good thing, though.
But
make sure you wash them really, really good. You can, you know, we do offer skin mashed potatoes, which is awesome.
Yeah.
So this one right here, I peeled them, and then I had my water boiling, and I threw them in there. Okay. Now, how do I know they're ready instead of having to just sit there and wait?
So how do you know they're ready?
Well, there's two ways.
Okay.
One, stick a little knife in there if you don't mind, just like you would a cake. You take it out, and if it slips off, you know, it's done. But so do the center, the thickest part of the potato.
So that's what they mean when they say fork tender.
Fork tender.
Fork tender,
so,
you can stick
like I said,
fork in it.
You really, 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 like this small little sweet potato, you really, you know, I mean, if I did it here, I'm sure it's going to all fall apart. But you want to get the thickest part.
In the middle.
All right?
Make sure the heat got in all the way. Yeah.
So, and look at your biggest potato, too.
Okay.
All right? Or, you know, your biggest.
Fork the biggest one, the
thickest
thickest
the biggest one. Exactly.
Okay. Right.
Once it slips out, you're ready to go.
Okay, so we're ready for dessert then.
We're ready for dessert. Let me move some of this stuff.
Okay, and I think you're going to need this mixing bowl. You know, this dessert, first of all, a Bavarian, for those people who don't know, is when you take a gelatin and you mix it with a whipped cream. Now, of course, in this case, we're going to use a sugar-free, fat-free whipped topping, and we're going to use a sugar-free gelatin. And so you're going to end up with a recipe that gives you a dessert for 74 calories. Now, where can you find a delicious dessert for 74 calories?
Right here.
Right here on Memorial Cooking Innovations.
Right here.
That's right.
Now, and it's something so simple. And I'm sure we've done them so many times, we just didn't know what it was called. But it's a gelatin with a little whipped cream, non-fat. And then some fruit cocktail. Can we add peaches, just if you want to make a just plain peach, or
could
you know what I mean?
Mandarin oranges.
Exactly. So we chose a little bit of everything, of course.
Okay.
So I have a little. I'm gonna pull the soup over here on this side.
All right.
Because it's looking good. Smells good too, huh? You smell that one? I'm gonna turn this off. Okay. So I have your gelatin here, Tim.
Okay.
I have a spoon here.
All right.
And I have some hot water here.
Can I pour this right in this bowl?
You sure can.
Okay.
And I got some real hot water here, Tim.
All right.
So what we want to do now? Go ahead. I'm gonna pour this one real quick.
I like to stir.
But you know what? That smell of Jell-O is so good, isn't it?
Really, you really smell it when you add that water, huh? Okay. Okay. Now there's a little trick to this.
There is a little trick.
About it?
Yeah.
As you were testing this recipe in the kitchen.
We did it a couple of times, and to me, actually the first time was good.
Yeah.
But it got better and better.
Yes.
Right. So the trick to this is your water's got to be boiling.
Okay.
Nice hot. The recipe says to refrigerate for an hour. Okay. Check it within 20 to 30 minutes. What we're going to do, and this is what happens to us, we're going to cool this down to mediocre. In other words, half the temperature. So
you're looking to get this gelatin out of the refrigerator whenever it's the consistency of raw egg whites. Is that right?
Yeah,
okay,
exactly.
So it's not completely gelled, but it's not liquidy.
Liquidy.
Yeah.
And then what we're going to do, that's when we're going to pull it out and then add the rest of the ingredients.
Okay. All right.
All right. Okay. So I'll tell you what we do. Let me put this one in the refrigerator for a little bit, if you don't mind.
All right.
I'm gonna lay this over here.
Okay. And so
it won't take that long for us.
And we're not going to add the fruit yet. See, in this Bavarian, we've added a fruit cocktail that's packed in water, so it doesn't have that extra sugar in it. And what you end up with is a dessert that is elegant. You know, you can pour this into a nice mold. And so this is what you're going to mold it in.
We're going to mold it in this. And you can use any mold. You can use the little parfait cups,
Yeah.
whatever you like. I just thought that this was a nice little...
And there's some neat molds out there. I mean,
there are some really nice ones. So
you can get like a star or whatever your theme for that particular meal is. If you're,
and you know, this is something that the kids will love to do, and it's good and healthy.
Yeah.
You know, as a snack. You know.
Well, you know, American Cancer Society says to get in 5 servings of fruits and vegetables a day. This can be one of those fruit servings.
Perfect. Mm-hmm. Now, we did cheat a little bit because I did have one in the refrigerator earlier. Yes, of course.
Mean you did one ahead?
Yes, I did one ahead. So actually, it's not as cold as we wanted it to be, but it is cooler than the one we just put in there.
Okay.
So it's cooled to about half. Okay. So it is a little loose, not as loose as it was earlier. You see that, Tim?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. So now, if you want to go ahead,
you want me to do this part?
Yeah.
Are you sure? I'm not trained on this.
Go for it.
Okay.
I'm going to let you finish the dessert, Tim.
Okay. All right. You know, it could be dangerous when you let a dietitian do the dessert. You usually want the chef to do the dessert.
But you're good at this.
Okay.
You and I had fun with it.
Actually, we did. We did. All right. Now I'm going to let you take over at this part because this is where I get into unfamiliar territory. How am I doing?
You're doing great.
Okay.
You're doing great.
You're not going to take over for me?
No, I want you to finish that one up if you don't mind.
All right.
I know you've been wanting to do it. So all we're doing is really mixing mixing both of these together.
Okay.
Okay. So
It really takes two of us.
It does.
This is a team effort.
You're doing a good job.
All right.
I'll put this one
And
here.
basically, you're just trying to create a homogeneous mix. Is that right?
Yeah, so
In
it
other
was
words-
a nice bright red. Now
Yeah.
it'll be more like a pink.
Yeah.
Perfect.
All right. Okay. The power of pink.
Perfect.
Okay.
For this month.
Okay. All right. Are we
And
there yet?
yeah, we can actually add the fruit.
Okay. All right. Shall I drain that, or is it good?
No, it's good.
Okay.
It might have a little juice, but you know what?
Okay.
It won't hurt it. It'll cool it down a little bit more.
Okay. All right. Kids would love this. They love to stir. They like Jell-O. They like whipped cream.
Oh, this is a really good dessert.
Okay.
So now we can pour it in the mold.
Okay. Let me set that right there. Okay, you ready for this?
Yeah, just pour it in slow. I got you.
Okay, right there.
A little bit more. You're almost there.
Okay. Okay.
Beautiful,
good.
Tim.
All
Let me
right.
wipe this out right here. That's beautiful.
All right.
Now we're going to put it in the refrigerator.
Oh boy. And this is where the kids get to go run and play. So they're going to run off all those calories. And then when they come back in, we get to have dessert.
We get to have dessert. So,
Okay.
but wait, before the dessert,
Oh, we want to
we got to get our soup.
we got to finish our soup out.
So I'm going to do the soup real quick.
Okay.
And if you don't mind, I want to pour some of that soup in there.
Okay. Here,
I-
let me use
I do have
this
a,
spoon right here.
and we did say we were going to do a small, thin French bread. Lots of onions.
Okay. Because it is an onion soup.
Smells good, doesn't it?
Mm-hmm. Well, you've got a lot of good things in here. You've got a
Lots of fresh
beef
herbs.
broth. You've got your fresh herbs.
Now you can put juice.
Mm-hmm. Of course, the onions are always good. You've got garlic in here. You've got some white wine. Okay, getting there.
Yeah, beautiful.
Okay.
And then we're going to add our crouton there.
Okay.
And then I have a little bit of low-fat mozzarella.
Okay. And this is the classic, you know.
And it's, you know, the soup is hot, the mozzarella
Yeah.
melts inside. Oh my God, it's really
So
good.
if you've got your guests coming over, you've got your soup in the pot, okay, and when we have some conversation, but when it's time to serve, you start with this soup, and that's when you bowl them all up, and then you have your bread all sliced, and right before serving, you go with the bread and the cheese. They will love it.
They will love it. All right, so
Ooh, that's beautiful.
perfect.
Okay.
Look at this.
Look at the color on that.
Beautiful,
oh,
isn't
that's
it?
gorgeous. Okay.
Okay, beautiful. I got this little spatula,
Okay.
so we can cut it up. Oh, this is gonna be nice. And you know, Tim, we were talking about the other day about traditions.
Yes.
You know, everyone makes some type of shepherd's pie. They call it something different. And growing up, you know, being Italian, we had pastel de papa, which, you know, for us it's actually we put a little bit of puff pastry on the bottom.
Oh.
You know, and then
Okay.
put the meat, and then put the potatoes, and then cinnamon and sugar on top.
Huh.
It's kind of strange, but it's
Yeah,
really good.
okay.
You want to serve that, Tim?
Okay.
And as you do that, I'm going to get the dessert.
Okay.
That looks so good.
Ooh, yes. You know, the HC Polk Education Center is a resource, a community resource for diabetes, heart, and stroke information. And 2 years ago, Miss Yana Ogletree suggested that we could reach a wider audience if we took this show and collaborated with City of Lufkin and put it on Channel 15 Suddenlink. And working with Chef Manny and our friends at City of Lufkin, Memorial Cooking Innovations was born 2 years ago this month.
Wow.
Is that not cool?
That is awesome.
Okay, and so we thought to celebrate this 2-year anniversary, we would get all of the members of the team to join us for a little toast. So team, y'all come join us. So today we brought you a traditional onion soup, and we've got a delicious sweet shepherd's pie that's not too sweet, and we've got an elegant dessert, a Bavarian, and we're here to toast the team that makes it all possible, to the team that makes Memorial Cooking Innovations possible, to our viewers who have made the show a success. May we continue to bring health and happiness to our community and our families.
Hear, hear, hear.